Good evening, everybody. My name is Ray Cutesy here with AirgunWeb, AirgunWebTV Live. Glad that you guys could join us tonight. We have kind of an interesting show tonight, sort of planned. I kind of came in here about 30 minutes ago and started throwing some stuff together. So I thought we would jump right into some things. We've got some people joining our stream here. We'll let a few more visitors come in before we start taking questions. So first things first, we'll grab a drink here. It has been a crazy year. Been a really tough year. You guys know we've been dealing with inventory shortages just across the board, both products and pellets and just everything. So I said products and supplies. It's just been a tough year. Now I'm hoping that as things loosen up, if they loosen up, that we'll see these things change. But I'm curious, one question is out there when you guys are going for and looking for products besides pellets. We know those are tough to find. What is the one product you've really been looking for that you haven't been able to find? And I'd be curious to know what that is. So let's go ahead and we'll start, as people have a response to that, let me know. So I wanted to talk today. It's funny, I got an interesting comment. You can't please everybody, right? So I just posted this video on the Diana Chaser part 1, and I actually really like that gun because it's super affordable. It's like 130 bucks. It's a nice pistol, nice rifle. Yes, it's CO2. It's not uber powerful, but it's well built. And, I've done some accuracy shooting with it already. I've got some targets here. There you go. That's some of the targets. Oh, if it'll show up here, there it is. That's some of the targets we were getting with the little unit. So definitely pretty good. But, gentlemen, evidently doesn't like CO2. He wanted to comment that I don't give 20 cals their proper due, but I'll waste his time with CO2. It's so funny because if you look at the just the availability of anything, I think CO2 and telling you guys about a cool CO2 product that you may want for underneath the tree or shooting in the basement or whatever you got going on this holiday season, I think makes a lot more sense. So I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, if you guys want to jump in here and let me know what one product that you've been trying to get hold of you haven't been able to, I'd be curious to know what that is. Okay, so I took a look at the Diana Chaser. I'm going to have part 2. I hope to have that up. I'm going to have that probably coming up next week, the part 2, which will look at the pistol and the rifle and see how they do on paper, and we'll get the stats and stuff and how it noise, trigger pull, all that kind of fun stuff. So we'll do the full review then. This last video was more about just taking it apart, putting it back together, see what you can get. I think you get a lot for your money. There's one gentleman saying that Chasers what others mod a 2240 to be. Absolutely, you're exactly right. The 2240 is such a great little CO2 gun. It's so affordable, and I do like the new 2240 XL with the new grip and the steel breech and all of that stuff. It's very, very cool. I do like that gun. But you're right. I mean, people go out and buy all this gear to then turn it into a long barrel carbine CO2 rifle, and the Chaser's got it right there in the bag. So very, very cool gun. Be curious to see how it all turns out when we get the rest of the video done. But on the CO2 front, I didn't know what you guys thought of the whole air archery kind of concept. I've got, I was going to pull it up, and, speaking of things that are out of stock, let me just switch screens here. If we go over to, this is Umrex USA. So, they do a lot with CO2, obviously. If you need a 50 cal Max ML magazine, I got them, airgunproshop.com. I apologize, they're not on the website like they're supposed to be. But if you need a 50 cal magazine, I've got those sitting on the shelf. So it's Airgun Pro Shop. Go over there, send me a note, and I can should have them on the site available to buy shortly. So if you need anything MNX parts related, I can generally help with that. I know that's off topic where I was but I just noticed a comment here. But yeah, again, 50 cal 45, 50, 35, and 30. I think I have them all in stock for the Maximals. So if you need them, just get with me at Airgun Pro Shop. We got them in stock. Okay, so this is one of the guns that I think Angie recently did a video again on this. Maybe it was a while back. It's been a while, probably. But this gun is so much fun. Now, I'm curious if you guys have ever considered the CO2 rifles and even more so the CO2 arrow shooters as something to play with in the backyard. Now, this one, if you go and get, I actually have some right here. Hold on. If you get these guys, these are the actual broadheads. Thank you. The broadheads for that gun. I think it would be fun to go out and do a little jackrabbit hunting with that. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe I could do a video on that. That would be kind of cool. Anyway, so have you guys thought about one, just CO2 rifles in general, and two, what do you guys think of the CO2 arrow shooters as something to play with in the backyard? Definitely, you can reuse your arrows. So you're not having to go buy ammo all the time. You just got to have the CO2. So I'm curious what you guys think. All right, so we've got, let's see. Yeah, David, as far as the Wyrock, yeah, man, that's a tough get right now. Those are hard. We're going to come back to some more Umrex stuff here in a minute. Let's see. Let's take a few questions here. We've got a few people stacked up here, so let's take some questions. We'll get back to the other CO2 and other stuff here in a minute. First of all, Albert's asking a question here: is the 90-gram CO2 the bigger one, and is it more pressure? How does it compare to green grass? Okay, so let me explain how CO2 works. CO2 in liquid form is about 900 psi. As you use the CO2, there's less liquid. At a certain point when it can't maintain the 900 psi, that's when you start seeing the pressure drop or the velocity drop. So, for example, the Chaser, when I was shooting it the other day, the one little 12-gram would go about 25 shots that were nearly even. I mean, they were nearly identical. After 25, you started to see it drop a little bit, and that's when there wasn't enough liquid CO2 to maintain the pressure. So green gas, I don't know what its resting pressure is, but it's probably going to act very much the same way. I'm not sure if it's as susceptible to sort of temperature changes. I do know that if you rapid fire with green gas, you have the same effect as you do with CO2. But CO2, whether it's a tiny little container or the 90 gram, or you had a tanker truck full of it, it's 900 psi. It doesn't change pressure based on the size of the container. What does change is the bigger the container, the more liquid CO2 you have, the more shots you get before you start dropping off. So as long as you keep, as long as it doesn't freeze and you like rapid fire full auto kind of a deal, you'll get very good consistency with the CO2. In fact, it's like having a regulated gun in that the propellant itself is regulated to about 900 psi. So hopefully that's helpful. Let's see. David's saying he's had an HW97 case on order since spring. Yeah, that's a tough one. Albert, you know, your Hammerly 850, absolutely outstanding gun. Have you seen, let me see if I can pull it up here. Have you seen pellet rifles? Let's see. Have you seen the new M2, the 850 M2? Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. This gun is, and I need to do another video. I've done a video of this already, but this is a gun that is just simply outstanding. This is the 850 M. No, is this what? This is the M2, right? No, I apologize. That's the. Let me get the right model. I got confused. Where's the 850 M2? Let me just search for it, I guess. Let me see. 850 M2. Here we go. All right. So here's the 850. There it is. All right, so this is the 850 M2. If you guys want a really nice CO2 gun, CO2 rifle, and this is good for light hunting and all manner of cool stuff. But this little guy here, beautiful trigger, great action, just a wonderful gun to shoot. It's got a threaded muzzle, so it's 1/2 UNF threaded, so you can add a moderator to it. Comes with the rails, so you put a little bipod, you put a nice scope on it. This gun will shoot dimes at 30 yards all day. Just a really, really nice gun. It shows as in stock too. I mean, this right here is a dynamite gun. If you haven't shot one of these, man, this is a great backyard gun. If you want PCP performance in the sense of ease of accuracy without having to go with a tank or a pump or any of that other stuff, this is what I always point people to. It is more expensive than, say, a QP78 or some of these other CO2 guns, but it's German made. It's got that German quality. It is worth the money. It is a very, very good gun. So if you guys are interested in CO2 rifles, check this one out. Let me just drop the link in because this is just really good. There it is. Let's see. We go back here. Some questions here. I'll pop back over here. Ronald said he loves CO2. He has a bunch of them. He's still. Yep, the Air Javelin. Yeah, see, the Air Javelin, people, gosh, that's such a cool gun. I was so skeptical of the Air Javelin. Okay, so I thought it was a gimmick. I thought it wasn't going to do much till I actually shot one. And I was like, man, this thing is really, really cool. And it's great as a youth gun, too, because you just have a lot of fun in the backyard. And if you want to, you can get the broadheads. You can actually go hunting with it. So that's kind of cool. So Albert's asking, let's see. Albert is asking Gary, yeah, I don't know if I want waist deep snow, Gary. How expensive is it to buy the 88 gram cartridges? Well, that is the trouble. Now, if you can do it, let me see if they have them available. I used to buy them by the case just because that's the least expensive way to get them. Let's see. So what I'm doing is I'm going over to Pyramid Air's website here just to see. All right, they've got those. Got those. I want the big ones. Okay, so let's go. If there's one thing, well, one of the things I absolutely cannot stand about Pyramid Air's website is the search algorithms because they force you to look at stuff you have no interest in. I asked for Air Venturi CO2 and I'm looking at a CZP07 CO2 pistol. It's not what I, here it is. All right, so here's the bulk pack. We do the quick math here. You're looking at eight and some change per unit. You got to buy them in a whole bunches. If you're buying a 2 count, it's actually 2 is not that bad price wise. It's not as good as the other. Let's see. There's Umrex is $20. The Pyramid Airs are $18. So it's $9 a piece if you go that route. It's a little bit less, $8.33 if you buy them this. But that's that's a lot of money to spend on CO2. But if you want to just guarantee you're going to shoot whenever you want, I mean that's how I buy them, and I have them on the shelf for when I do reviews and stuff. But that's what I would recommend: is just buy them in bulk, do what you can to save as much as you can, and then you'd be in good shape. You have what you need. Yeah, the big cartridges are pricey. You can get the smaller cartridges, and you can get the adapter. Umrex now has the adapter that converts the CO2. Let's see. Let's see if they've got it in stock. Let's see here. Yep. Okay. So, and it's in stock too. So let me show you guys this. If you want to shoot 88 gram capable guns, but you want to use the 12 grams powerlets or CO2 cartridges, that is a great option. I believe it's sealable. Yeah, I believe it's got a seal in it. If it's not, forgive me, but I believe it is. Um, so this works with the Javelin, works with the Hammerly, and other CO2 powered guns that use the 88 gram cartridge. So something like this is a great way that you can buy like a whole whack load of the little ones, use 2 of them in this, and now you've got, it's not as much CO2 as the big container, but at least you don't have to go spend, $8 a bottle, for example, if that, maybe that helps. But this is a very cool product, and it looks like it is in stock, which is even more awesome. Great stocking stuffer. So let's see. As far as the question on the M2 and the Lothar Walther barrel, I don't know, but let's see. I mean, maybe they say so in their marketing material. Let's see. Let's go to 22. It's certainly priced like they would have. It doesn't really say. It doesn't look like it. So I don't know if they're using the LW barrel or not. I know that mine is super accurate. So, but I mean, so much today is done with products that are coming out of China and other places that this is made in Germany. So I don't know what the barrel. I don't know who makes the barrel, but it's the quality is so much better. At least can be so much better than it has been in the past. So having to have an LW barrel may not be all as important as it used to be. Okay, can you get? Here's a question, and I'll ask you guys to be patient with me. If I missed your question, I apologize up front. So I will try and hit everybody's questions and answer them the best I can here over the next hour. But if I miss it, you can always email me. Please feel free to email me if you like, and I'll just put my email in here. Let's see here. So if you need to reach out, there's my email address. Okay, so let's see. Run is asking a question. Hello, Rick. Could you give me 5 examples of FFP Springer scopes? I'm trying to give my HW97K an upgrade. I don't have 5 examples. I will tell you that I personally like the first focal planes from Hawk. They have a lifetime warranty. They're rated for air guns, so that probably gives you a good potential for it to be at least hold up. But I would just, I can't give you 5, but I would say look at the Hawk. Like the Hawk Vantage first focal plane is probably your least expensive. It's probably about $400. Really, really nice scope. So it's a Hawk Vantage 30 first focal plane. But I'd start there and see what works for you. But that's what I would go with. The Chaser versus the 850 M2. That's not a fair fight. I would need to get an 850 and 177. Let me see if they got it. Let me just go here. I may order one or beg JB send me one. Let me see here. So it's in stock, but that would be such not a fair fight, man. I mean, it's a third the price versus 3 times the money, and yeah, it's a huge. I don't know. It'd be fun to do. That would be a fun video. So I think Black Roads air gunning. I think I answered your question with the adapter that you can get the 212 grams in the Umrex. The adapter's like $30. They used to have one for the 850. It was $100, but they've made a new one that'll work with this gun for $30, which is a great deal. Let's see. Let's see. The Crossman SBR is a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun. Let's see. Please, Heath is asking. Hey, Heath, asking the temperature limits on CO2. So, as I mentioned earlier, CO2 when in the liquid form is about 900 psi. As you use it, it gets colder. As it gets colder, the pressure drops. So if you're in a cold climate, like you're in the snow and it's 30 degrees outside, um, it's not going to be at the same pressure. CO2 is like 900 psi at room temperature, let's just say. You can actually go too high of a temperature. When I used to shoot out in Arizona and it was 115, 120, I'd actually valve lock some CO2 guns because the CO2 got too much pressure. Didn't happen often, but it could, and it could actually cause damage your gun and stuff too. So, but at room temperature, CO2's 900 psi. As you use it, if you rapid fire, it cools off. It is the same. You guys ever bled an air tank, like an 88 cubic foot tank, and you had to drain it or bleed off all the air and check it, do a visual inspection or something, or you just got a compressor and you hit the bleed off real fast. It can actually freeze because it gets very cold when that air goes out. When the pressure is decreasing rapidly, it gets very cold. If you increase pressure rapidly, it gets hot. It's the way physics works. But as you use CO2, either in rapid fire, it cools down, or you're in cold temperatures. And I would say I try and shoot CO2 above, say, 70. I mean, I shoot sometimes at 65 and stuff, but I try and get into that 70-degree range when I'm shooting CO2, 70 and above. So that's what I choose to do. I got a phone ringing, but I'm just going to let it go to voicemail because I don't even know where it is. Oh, here it is. Let's see. Sorry, can't take your call right now. All right, let's see. What pellet lube do I use? Okay, I don't use any. Now, I had conversations with Larry from Airguns of Arizona, and he was extolling the virtues of, if I use the word right, forgive me if I didn't, the virtues of pellet lube, so maybe I should try some. That gets into like an area of airgunning that isn't my thing. If there is a and I know nothing against the guys that do this. Please don't take me wrong, but there are you guys that are super serious about the sport. I mean, I admire you where you will use the little tray and you'll size all your pellets by head size and you'll weigh them and you'll try different lubes to try and get that little teeny bit extra bit of tenth of an inch accuracy. That's just not me. I'm not a bench shooter guy in the sense of competitively. I like air guns for just fun, hunting, utility, and I love to shoot. So if it sends something out a barrel, I want to shoot it. So pellet lube, I don't use it, but I'd be open to if there was something that made a real difference. Like if I went from like an inch group at 50 yards to half an inch at 50 yards, and it was because of the lube, man, I'd be all of that. But if I went from like an inch to 0.95 of an inch, yeah, that doesn't excite me. But something that makes a huge difference, if there was that thing that existed, yeah, I would be all over that. I'd want to know about it. But I just haven't found it, and I'm not that educated on it. So maybe that was of absolutely no value. So forgive me if that was a waste of time. Okay. Talking about Walmart having a good price for the 88 grams. Yeah, I've seen them there for, like you're saying, about $12. That's about what they used to be. And then the price kind of went stupid. Let's see. Can you hunt in the winter using CO2? Heath, I know some people use like the chemical hand warmers and actually put a sock around the CO2 area of their gun. So you can do it. Just keep your CO2 warm. That's how I would do it. Hey there, Joshua. Hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, Angelo's saying if you keep it warm, that's exactly the point. Let's see. So Gary's talking about, he must be talking about the Umrex, the little adapter that has a seal so you can take it out. That's cool. I thought it did. I wasn't quite sure. Let's see. The Diana Chaser comes with no magazines. It's just the single shot tray. So you got to buy the magazine extra. Frankly, I thought that was a little bit cheeky. I mean, they could have put a couple mags in there. I mean, what's the big deal? I would have paid the extra 10, 20 bucks or whatever just to have the mags in it. But now to have to go and buy mags, it was kind of dumb, personally. I'll talk about that when I do the video. So when I do the shooting part. So let's see. Yeah. Let's see. I called Hawk and they said Air Max was the only one Springer rated. Okay, good. Um, let's see. Let's see. I have a okay. So I have a gas ram that tears up scopes. There's a shock absorbing mounts, a solution, and do you lose accuracy? So if you're gonna like use the mounts that move, um, they do help. They actually do help. You can see in the slow motion where the gun moves, the scope stays still. They will impact accuracy. They're very good, but they do wear out over time, and they're not a hard mount. So anything that's got movement is going to have some give, some flex. So if you are shooting half-inch groups, you may shoot a little bit better, a little bit more than half-inch, but you won't be killing your scope. So it depends if precision is what you're after, like absolute tenth of an inch matters precision, then I would not use them. If you're looking for consistency on target and you want to hunt without tearing your scopes up, then I would say it's a good option. So hopefully that's useful. All right. Let's see. I don't remember the daisy that came with both, but that's interesting. Okay. All right. So let me get back since we're sort of running low on questions here. Let's see. Um, Storm Chaser. Let me go back to one of my questions I wanted to talk about today or tonight. So CO2, it looks like CO2 guns are alive and well. That's awesome. What do you guys think about the arrow shooters? So if I zip back over to Rex's webpage here and we take a look at the air archery, I'll just shoot you guys a link so you have it. All right. This is, I'm curious as to what you guys think. So I have both the Air Javelin and I also have the Air Saber. Personally, my personal opinion, I love them. I did not think I was going to like them. I did not think I was going to think they were cool or useful or awesome, but I absolutely love them. This is another option that's actually in stock, guys. So um, when I first had a chance to look at one of these and really do the math, take a look at what it produced for power, accuracy, I still think that this is dollar for dollar probably the most lethal air gun you can buy. You put a broadhead now. I don't know. Is anybody, if anybody's hunted with an air gun with arrows, please let me know on the chat because I have, and it was absolutely devastating. I shot a hog for Air Venturi years ago at Boggy Creek Outfitters. By the way, if you guys want to do a little cool hunting, you got to look up Boggy Creek Outfitters right here. All right, so this place, you got to give Joe a call, okay? So he's got about 40 acres in a high fence. It is freaking awesome. For you guys who don't think hunting in a high fence is fair, what's the difference between baiting and waiting for something to come to your corn pile and going to where you know you're going to put food in the freezer? So look, I got over my aversion in a real hurry when we were able to go and have one, do a ton of testing, have a lot of fun, and also take about 400 pounds of meat home. So I was thrilled. But anyway, I was out at Joe's and I was using um, the Dragon Claw with the Air air bolts and took a really nice hog, and it was absolutely devastating what that arrow and broadhead did to that hog. Like that, I mean, was the guy? My guide was like blown away at what we were able to do with it. So I come back now and ask the question: have you guys ever hunted with arrows? Would you consider it? Maybe it's legal, maybe it isn't, but hunting hogs, it probably doesn't matter. But have you shot this gun or thought about it? Personally, this thing is amazing. If you haven't spent it, where's Joe? I just used his word. If you haven't had an opportunity to try one of these guns out, man, I don't know if there's a place you can, but um, this thing is cool. It is really, really impressive, and the fact that you can be so accurate and so lethal for so little money is, to me, very impressive. So, let's see. Um, let's see. I got a question here. So, Derek, let me read your question here. I've had lots of air rifles and air pistols, and never understood how a $1,300 air rifle is so much better than everything else that is 1/10 of the price. Well, Derek, the what I would probably tell you is I would love for you to invite you out to West Texas and let you shoot some entry level guns and then shoot some $2,000 guns. And I guarantee you will tell the difference. Doesn't mean that one negates the other either way, but there's a huge difference in the build quality, the material used, the durability, the longevity, sometimes the accuracy as well, although the cheaper guns now are getting, I mean, it's hard to tell the difference. But there is a massive difference between $1,000+ air gun and $150 air gun. And if you've never shot a high end air gun, you won't really know that. You'll have that question in your mind, but it's I've done it. I don't know how many times I've had people sit down to say a gauntlet, for example, and I love the gauntlet. So, guys, I'm not bashing the gauntlet. It's one of my favorite guns. I had them shoot a gauntlet, 50 yards, nice group. Then I'd have them move to like an AirArms S510, 50 yards, very similar group. But all of them would prefer to shoot the AirArms when they're done. It's just, and it's 5 times the money. I get it. But it's a different class of air gun. And if you've never actually done it, it won't make any sense to you. But if you want to, come on out. You're welcome. So let's see. So in Idaho, you can only use them as short range season muzzleloaders with optics or crossbows. That's talking about the arrow guns. That makes sense. Yeah, the one thing Mr. Burns is saying that the Hot Sun Harpoon takes 3 backstops. Yeah, you actually, I made the mistake one time of test firing one of the arrows I had, the infantry air bolts with a broadhead, and it went through. I have the big heavy duty bone collector 400 feet per second crossbow, really heavy duty rest. It went through it like butter, like it wasn't even there. So yeah, I mean, you need something significant. Don't use a hay bale. You lose a lot of arrows. So we got a bunch of people saying that the Javelin and Air Saber are cool. That's very, very cool. Let's see, the P-Rod Heath, if you're looking at a little pistol to hunt with, definitely a better option. If you get a larger transfer port, you can modify the stock gun with a larger transfer port and get upwards of 18, 19 foot-pounds. They give you 4 or 5 foot-pounds extra if you just change the transfer port out. Hard to buy air bolts. Yeah, I haven't looked for those in a long time, but they're out of stock when they're in stock. I don't know if they're still getting them. Let's see. Okay, here's a good question. What is my favorite? This is Hector's asking me. What's my favorite break barrel rifle to hunt with and why? It's going to be probably the Gamma Bone Collector Swarm. Any of the Swarm guns really, but the Bone Collector I think is my favorite because it sits between power-wise. It sits between the Maxim and the Magnum. I think the Magnum is a little bit overkill. Personally, sorry Gamma, just my 2 cents worth. The Maxim is okay. It's just a little underpowered, but that Bone Collector with the larger compression chamber, larger diameter compression chamber, you get more power with the same effort. And so to me, that's going to be my favorite break barrel to hunt with. Anyway, let's see. Let's see. Well, if you missed it, if you got here late and you missed it, we republish these and you can watch them again. So not a big deal. What are the weights on those arrows? What kind of velocity you get? Are they fast as a PSC full throttle? Okay, so I don't know anything about crossbows, so forgive me. These are 300. Like take the Air Saber, excuse me, 376, 500 feet per second. So they're very fast, and they're pushing a heavy, heavy arrow. So there you go. And hopefully that gives you what you're looking for there. Um, all right, so Derek, let me get to you on that question here. Derek's asking about the Hatsan Blitz. I actually have a 22 cal sitting that I need to do a review on. I just haven't had the time to do it. Uh, from what I've shot of it, it is very, very nice. I haven't done a lot of accuracy with it, but at the big magazine ripping full auto, you kind of don't care about accuracy. I am going to test it for accuracy. That's why I bought it. I really want to see how it compares to other guns from an accuracy perspective. But from a semi-automatic, full automatic, and just a usability standpoint, it's done very, very well. So I put 1,000+ rounds through it, no hitches, no problems at all. So depending on what caliber you're looking at, I'm shooting the 22. Been very pleased with it so far. So that's on my short list here to get out and do some video work with it. So that should be coming up here soon. So, uh, arrow shooters do have a bark. Daniel, they do. They're loud, and I don't know how you'd moderate them. So they are, especially the Air Saber, definitely has some rapport to it. Maybe something if I do another review coming up, we can get the dB meter out and see what it sounds like. Let's see. A little more questions here. Okay, Mark, the 130 30 cal from Hatsan, if it's what it used to be, and I haven't had my hands on one in 4 or 5 years, so just grain of salt. I really liked their 30 cal. It wasn't much for velocity, but it did push that 30 foot-pounds, and it was very accurate with that 30 cal pellet. It was just slow and heavy and just really, really nice. Now, if it's the same as it was 5 years ago, I would say it's an easy yes. But I would love to see one of their newer ones to see if they're still at the same quality. I just don't know. But at the time when it first came out, and it was, I remember talking to the owner of Hot Saw at the time, encouraging them to go ahead. They just came out with their big bore PCPs. I said, look, the 135 is a great platform to just throw a 30 cal barrel on it. Just make it. I bet you people would buy it just because you make it just because you can. It's one of those guns where it doesn't have to make sense. You have the ability to do it, and you just do it. And I think it's been very, very popular. So if it's the same build quality as it was 5, 6 years ago, probably a good gun. Okay, let's see. I know I expect to get some AEA stuff in at some point, guys, just so you know, but it's probably not going to be for a few months. So I am looking forward to that. Let's see. If price, okay, all right, Heath, I'll answer this question. If price was no object, what would you choose as a rabbit and squirrel gun? I don't know that price comes into it for me. I would probably go with something like an AirArms carbine, maybe a 22 carbine, the S510 XS carbine. It's lightweight, super accurate, regulated, more than enough power for rabbits and squirrel. That's what I would choose. I have the carbine in 177. I had the 22 carbine and wish to God I still had it. I had to send it back. Now, you know what I do have, which would be almost the same thing as I have the AirArms TDR, which is the smaller version and a takedown, super light. Don't have the shot count, but man, as far as a light running and gunning kind of thing, which is how I would hunt squirrel and rabbit, that would be sweet. But it'd be an AirArms carbine of some sort for me personally. But that's me. Let's see. Yeah, full auto. in the Blitz is more fun than you should be allowed to have without a license. It's awesome. Um, as far as repeater brake barrels, you've got several on the market right now. You've got the Crossman, the Hot Sun, and the Gammo. There's probably going to be more. That genie's out of the bottle. Now, I know you guys are wanting to see the video on the 3 primary multi-shot brake barrels. We're going to have that coming up. I just too many videos, not enough time. So, yeah, but I've got them sitting in the warehouse ready to do that work. Let's see. Benedict, I didn't get the first part of your question. So, oh, here it is. What caliber do you consider to be a hog hunting ethical? Well, this kind of good segue to the next part of my show today. I want to talk about airgun hunting, big game, not small game. So, all right. So here's the issue. I'm a 50-yard airgun hunter. The reason is the flight time of the bullet. We've talked about this on the show before. The flight time is so long at 100 yards, the game has a chance to jump the shot, even if you suppress it and you try all the things you're trying to do. Look, have people made 100-yard shots? Of course they have. Is it a high percentage shot? I would say no. At 50 yards, you're going to be far more ethical, far more accurate, more ethical, more effective. So keep your airgun hunting big game inside 50 yards. You're going to have a higher level of success. I mean, there are those people that can shoot at 100, maybe 200 yards. And look, if you have the skill set and the equipment and everything goes right, be good. But I bet you if you took 10 shots at 100 yards and you took 10 shots at 50 yards, you're going to have a far higher percentage of success at 50 yards than you are at 100. And it comes right down to the flight time. I have many big bore guns that'll shoot all their shots on a 4-inch disc at 100 yards, and a 4-inch kill zone on big game is absolutely practical. That is absolutely effective and ethical. But the time it takes from the time they're going to hear the shot to then the bullet gets there, they can move many inches, if not feet. And that's where your problem comes in. It's not accuracy, it's not power, it's not range. It's the flight time of the bullet. So consider that when the same thing if you're bow hunting, you may have a bow that's accurate to 75 or 100 yards, but would you take that shot? Um, it's just too much can happen between on the animal side from the time they hear it to the time it gets there that you may have made the perfect, most accurate, hit the same spot every single time. But if the target moves, you're out of luck. So keep your shots inside 50 yards. You'll have more success. Let's see. Best spud gun. I don't know what that is. So let's see. Don't know of a spud gun that we could talk about here. Yeah, I mean, if you want all about HPA airgun reviews, if you want to send me an AEA, I'll absolutely take a look at it and turn it right. Get the video done and turn it back around for you pretty quick. So I put my email up here. I'll throw it over there again. Let's see. It is editor at AirgunWeb.com. So if you want to get in touch whenever and do that, yeah, I'd happily take a look at it and then turn it right around to you. Let's see. TDR versus BSA Ultra. Now that is a good question, Heath. Oh man. I'm gonna go TDR because you can get it regulated. And I know I'm the guy who talks about you don't need regulated. Um, I don't know. But the TDR's got more than just the regulator because it is takedown. It does have the moderator built in already, although you can add one to the BSA. It has variable power if that's of any value. It's I don't know. I have both. They're very nice guns, but I would probably, if I had to give one up, I'd probably give up the BSA over the. I'd probably keep the TDR personally. Um, all right, so let's see. Okay, so Patrick, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. All right, so this is going out live. The SK19, I am not a fan of that gun. Look, I have nothing against the gun itself. I personally just don't like it. We had it. I've shot a couple of them. Ben was out some time ago, and we shot it. I didn't like it. Travis had his out here for Airgun Expo. I didn't like it. I just I understand it's like a marvel of engineering. It look. I personally just didn't like the gun. For whatever reason, I just found it arduous to load. I didn't like the trigger. It's just not one of my favorites. But I like the Walther Maxima Thor, which people ask me why I like that gun so much. I like that gun because I just like it. I don't have to have a laundry list of realistic reasons. I just like it. And the SK19, I don't particularly care for it. But that's just me. Travis loves it, so different strokes for different folks. Um, let's see. Have they developed an air shotgun for funny? Yeah, Albert, you should check this out. Let me see if I could just. Well, let me show you guys this real quick here. For those that, and first of all, I apologize that we haven't done better with this YouTube page, but we will. The Gateway Airguns YouTube page is going to be populated with everything we did at Airgun Expo, so you guys can see the edited versions. So I was going to show you this because you're going to see the SWA shotgun coming up on one of the things. But let me zip over to my channel real quick here, and we'll go to. Oh, if you go to the top line here, let's see what they got. There's all should be more there. I put them all up here. Let me try. Let me just search for. Okay, so if you go here and look at SWA, you're going to see. Yeah, here it is. This is the one you want to see. All right, so this is me and Angie shooting my 20 gauge. I'll just throw it up here for you guys to take a look at. But that is a. Sorry, that didn't paste in right. I apologize. There it is. That is a full-on 20 gauge shotgun that you actually fill with up to 1.5 ounces a shot. It is you can shoot 400 grain slugs with it. It will absolutely take game. Terry, the creator of the gun, who also does the PBBA big bore guns, he was out shooting here recently and took that little carbine and was taking dove with it like crazy. So it's absolutely suitable for taking game on the wing. So if that's what you're looking for, that gun exists already, and I just got a new shipment in, so it's very, very cool. If that is very, very awesome. Okay, let me get back here. Look, let me Tim, let me real quick talk about. Oh gosh, all right. So I got to get back into these questions. Okay, so do you have a favorite compact PCP in 25? Yeah, it's not going to be one people would think of, but I like the Walther Rain. It's a little compact 25. Also, it's not terribly compact, but it's very light. And I've got that new Catron that I got from Utah Airguns at the Expo. That's a very nice 25. But anyway, let me get to the next question here. Timmy, on the Eagle Claw and Dragon Claw, both really nice guns. I have them, love them, think they're awesome. But the volume of shot is so little and it's very light. It just doesn't have the range or power that you're going to get out of like the SWA. And good, granted, the SWA is twice the money, so absolutely, I know there's a huge difference there. But I have both the wing shot, double shot. I love the guns, and I have the Dragon Claw too. I love all those guns, but the The reality is they have very limited usefulness. I shoot snakes around the ranch with them. That's what I use them for. Or maybe rabbits up close if I don't have something else. But um, they have their limitations because they just don't have the volume of shot. If you want to get really you want to make them effective, you almost have to load 2 loads in the breech, and then you've got enough shot to really do something. Let's see. So Daniel's asking this question: what's your best rated scoop compressor to fill SCBA? I would have said the Daystate until they changed the motor, and now you've got to rewire your house to use it. Or you need a 30 amp 110, which is not everybody has that. Maybe if you've got an RV jack and you're living in a place like Lake Havasu that everybody has an RV jack outside, you could use it. But I guess I'm going to go 2 options. The Air Venturi $1,500 compressor is pretty good. That's what Angie uses. Hers held up very well for many years. We just replaced it. She just wore it out. So that would be one option. To go up in price, I've been working with the Davy compressors, DMC, Davy Energy, their DMC line. You'll see them in different names online. Their SCU 100, which is a scuba compressor, twin towers, breathing air quality. It's expensive. It's $2,400 or so. That one will fill an SCBA tank like nobody's business. It's 3.5 cubic feet per minute, which is very fast. Just so you know, it's like very fast. So that's what I would go with. But you're going to spend some money. Anything less than, you're going to either burn it up or you're going to put crap in your tank and screw your gun up, unless you filter it really, really well. So there you go. Let's see. All right, see you later, Daniel. Daniel, don't go anywhere yet. The iguana video's up. I just put it on AirgunWeb. I put it on AirgunWebTV. Hold on just a second. All right, let me just throw this real quick over here. If you guys want to see AirgunWebTV, no, I put it in the wrong. Sorry. Okay, so here's the iguana, and I got to fix this too. So if you guys want to see the iguana video from the Gamo hunt, it's right here. There you go. So that is the hunt, and we had a ball. This guy here, this is Larry Case, former game warden, and we had a good time talking about the hunt. And then this was after the hunt, but we had a ball. So it's a great video. You guys could take a look and watch it, but it's on AirgunWebTV. So real quick, if you guys don't understand how I'm laying things out these days, I have several channels. I have AirgunWeb, which we're here. This is for reviews, this kind of stuff. I have AirgunWebTV, which is more lifestyle TV stuff. Some of my live shows get republished over there, and we turn them into blog posts, podcasts as well. But all of our hunting stuff goes on AirgunWebTV. So if you haven't subscribed to that channel, please do. It's only got a few hundred subscribers, so it's not like this one with 80,000+. But if you want to see like the whole AirgunWebTV season, which there were 5 or 6 seasons of AirgunWebTV. We've got them almost all republished. I'm going to break those down. If we go back over there, we go back to the channel here. I will have on this page here all of the AirgunWebTV episodes, like this one. Here's 2017 episode 5. But we've got, we've got a lot of hunting content on this channel. And the reason I'm doing that is that I want to segment off the hunting content from the review content. If for whatever reason there's this sort of staggered approach in YouTube's mind of terminating stuff, I'm thinking they're going to dump the hunting stuff before they dump the other stuff. and that way I don't lose my whole channel. If they dump the hunting stuff, I still got AirgunWeb. So that's my thinking. If you want to see it all, we're going to be redoing AirgunWeb, which we're almost done with that. So that'll have a ton of content. There's also, you can go to my websites, right? So I know there's some folks that asked me recently what they all were. We go over here. So you can go to right to, take a minute to pop up here. Right, so this is AirgunWebTV, and we have all of our episodes from all of the seasons, right? So you can go and see, so we had 5 seasons. We did it for 5 years. Yeah, so you can actually go through and see all of the episodes that we shot over the years. You can go see here at AirgunWebTV, so that's cool. We're in the process of redoing AirgunWeb, which will have all the reviews. You can also go to Airgun Army, and there's just I try and keep things where, depending on how you want to access the content, you can get to it. And of course, we've got Gateway to Airguns, which everything's getting published there as well too. So let's get back to some questions. Let's see. Lots of questions tonight, folks. Thank you for coming up and hanging out with me tonight. Let's see. Um, Can you give me info on that compressor? Daniel, just, yeah, look me up after the show, either Airgun Pro Shop, Airgun Web, just message me on Facebook, whatever, and I'll be happy to take care of you. I've got some refurbished SCU 100s. Basically, they just need to be strapped to a pallet and shipped. They will come freight, but we do have some of those in stock ready to go, just in case you're interested. And there, we can talk pricing later. Let's see. As far as going to hunt in Puerto Rico, yes, I would love to go back to Puerto Rico and do that. I would like to go with brake barrels and leave the PCP stuff behind. So I think that would be a wonderful trip for sure. Tim, yeah, it's curious why it's breaking down. I'd be curious to talk to your friend on that, because if you don't overuse it and you I have some specific instructions I give people with that compressor, and it has worked out very well. Angie's went 3 years without a hitch, and the eventual thing that happened was actually a manufacturing flaw that we would have never seen. So it had nothing to do with the compressor part. It had to do with the shaft connecting the motor to the compressor. But she got 3 years of heavy use out of hers, but it does depend on how you use it. And if you drive it too hard, you will burn it up. And I mean by that is that if you're always only topping off the tank, so you're going from 3,000 to 4,500, let's just say, you're at the part of the compressor that has to do the most work. So if you're only ever running it from 3,000 to 4,500, and you're hitting that at like 35, 40 minutes to an hour every time you go to use it, it will wear out, and it will wear out more quickly than you like. So it's you got to know how to use it. So I'd be curious to see what's wearing out. If it's the second stage rings or the first stage flapper, I'll be curious to what's wearing out on it. All right. So here's a question, and we're going to be wrapping it up here because we're about out of time. Gosh, Eddie, great question. I want to get to that. So, okay, let me get back up here. What's a good and accurate, inexpensive pellet in 17722 for target? Just the pellet itself or the whole gun? I mean, you got to figure out what your gun likes, but I like RWS Hobbies. If you can find them, they're fairly inexpensive, and they always shot pretty well for me. Close range stuff. Longer range stuff, try Crossman Premiers. You can usually get those pretty cheap. And if they're not weird head size, you can probably do all right with them. The air charger is pretty good. I've had one of those. It's a little slow for me. But it will run at just chug, 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 chug. So it's absolutely a good compressor. Just takes a long time to fill a tank. Yeah, that guy on the Young Hangs. Yeah, I've never had one that worked out of the box. I've always had to work on them to make them work. So I have the Davy sells those. I have a whole warehouse full of them, and they work. They do fill your gun. They just you got to filter them. You really got to put filters on the other side of them, or you're just putting water and crap in your tank or your gun. Worse. So let's see. Um, so Eddie's saying anything about getting a Seneca Dragon Claw. It's a really nice gun, a really nice versatile air gun. I did a video recently on the Dragon Claw. If you haven't seen it, I kind of revisited it. If that's a revisited it, let's see. Go here, channel. So let's see, Dragon Claw. Here it is. Let me grab this real quick. I'll throw it up here for you to take a look at. Okay, here you go. Oh, I hit the wrong. Don't click that link. Won't work. Gosh, I can't copy and paste today. So that link there is the last video I did on the Dragon Claw. I've had that gun for a couple years, so that's my gun. It's still working. Many years of ownership and shooting. It is awesome. In fact, that's the gun I used to take the hog 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So it's a really nice gun. Let's see. I guess that's going to be it. I guess that's it. Okay. Guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out. We had, a bunch of great questions, and gosh, we didn't really get too deep into the hunting stuff. We answered a lot of questions though, and really love hanging out with you guys. If you want to learn more about what we got going on, definitely, we've got our Facebook page, our YouTube pages, our YouTube channels. The other thing I want to encourage you guys to really make use of is Gateway to Airguns. Please go join, sign up, and don't hesitate to contact me personally if there are things that you want changed or you have ideas or suggestions, because we want to make that forum open and available and easy for everyone to participate in. And I realize it's had its ups and downs. I want to really make it something that everybody can come and learn and have a good time doing so. So definitely check it out, gatewaytoairguns.org. And if you have any questions or issues, just reach out to me personally. Guys, that's going to be it. I'm out. Thank you guys again for hanging out with me. And we'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll have Travis back, but he may be traveling and he may still be dealing with getting his new house. So if not, we'll give Travis a little bit of a little grace, and maybe I can get somebody else to come up here and hang out with us. We'll see how it goes. But for now, guys, that's going to be it. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys.